This to make it 28-3. Arthur Blank loving it. Up by 25. Toss to White. He's in. What a comeback.
And welcome to what is sure to be a positive episode of the 28-3 podcast.
That's right. Sunshine and rainbows.
After that massacre yesterday in Seattle.
Sleepless in Seattle. What a time to be alive as a Saints fan.
I think Sleepless would have been like the PG version of the movie. What's the porn name of the movie?
There's a lot of candidates there.
Well, the funniest thing, I was scrolling through Twitter yesterday during the game, right before halftime, and you get the sponsored post.
Yeah.
One randomly pops up, Adam and Eve, the store, and they said 80% off of lube. And I'm like, oh man, this is low hanging fruit. I gotta, might have to do a little tweet on this and relate it to the game, and then
sweet algorithm, Max.
No, I mean it's just random shit
because of all the
his Sydney Sweeney scrolling gets him all the lube.
I mean after what happened to the Saints on Sunday, it would make sense that the algorithm thought it was the same thing. But
I think that's what it was.
Yeah.
Man, someone is getting sodomized on television right now. We should offer up some.
Man,
lube.
this opening came in hot. Whew.
Yeah, it did.
Man,
I'll do an alarm every week for the opening 30 seconds or so. That's good stuff.
Yeah, I think my phone's on silent, but the alarms.
There you go.
But anyway, an alarm might be fitting. Or is it cause for alarm what we saw on Sunday, or is this part of the rebuilding process that everybody has so desperately asked for over the past year or two? We got to cut bait, clean house, rebuild. Well, if you're rebuilding, the book says you have games like this, but was this something different?
Well, hold on. Let's get the positive out of the way. The positive is you almost hit your Corey's lock.
Yeah, another week.
But that was the only positive is you almost hit it.
I'm almost on I've been almost on every lock this year.
Isn't it sad that that's the most positive thing I can think of from the game?
I'm surprised you found. I'm honestly surprised you found any positive, and it's yet again another week.
That Olave got a red zone target is the positive.
No. That Corey almost hit a lock.
It's another week and another week that Rattler failed to lead Olave, which is like basic for QB. I showed you all the screenshots I took during my watch back of the game because I was on the road, and it's like he didn't put the ball. If you put the ball even more remotely in front of Olave, the defender doesn't get his arm in there, and B, the ball came out like a duck. I mean, he wasn't pressured. There wasn't a guy in his face, at least by NFL standards. I don't understand how you don't just zip in a tight spot. It wasn't a long pass. I mean, so many different things. And look, before I get too much on Rattler, I'm not one of the people, if there are any, saying that we lost this game because of Rattler. Rattler's not the reason we lost. Obviously, it was the entire team debacle. But there's a lot that he's still not doing. Look, there's things that leading Olave, not missing AK on the 4th and 2, deciding to throw to more open, guys open down the field versus checkdowns. It's not even that if he did that, we win. It's just that there's still things, week 3, and there's things that we're seeing out of him that you would, you'd expect more out of a true starting quarterback. But obviously, Rattler's not the story of this game. There's a lot more. But
I would say, what gave us the idea that we would see more? Who expected to see more based on anything that actually happened other than hope? We hoped we'd see more. Mm-hmm. There's nothing to say that he's performed in any game really other than the game he relieved Haener. He had a really nice half. He had a decent quarter against Tampa when they turned it over 3 times in a quarter, and we got back in that game last year. But it's the same exact play that we're seeing that we saw all of last year. So it's what kind of should have been expected with the hope that he would improve. Once again, starting the game slow, we got a first down the first drive, got 24 yards on the first drive. Second drive, 3 and out, 5 yards. Third drive, 3 and out, -2 yards. Scores 21-0.
Yeah.
Game's over. Game's over.
The only thing that, I think people look for excuses, or there's people on the coaching staff. I think DA in his era, he looked for excuses. I think other coaching staffs look for explanations. Kellen Moore gave, and I guess you could call it an explanation. Some might call it an excuse. But when you go down 14, 21-0, and there's this idea of, hey, why didn't we just push the ball down the field more, especially being down so much? And there is a reality that he spoke of that when they know what you're going to do, they can just sit their two high safeties and take away any ability for you to just go down the field. And that might be true, but it's
I didn't
like,
see what he said. But if he's saying that based on a 21-0 in the first quarter, there's no reason you would have to go deep either. So
there's time at that point.
There's tons of time. This isn't 21 points at the end of the third quarter where you've just got to go. You know what I mean? The whole playbook's at your disposal.
Bear in mind, we're a podcast named after a 28-3 comeback that happened in the second half.
They
in the third quarter.
They did 28-3 us yesterday, which was rub salt in the wound.
Which was neat.
I do love to see those numbers together, but it was not the best way to see it.
No, it wasn't. We prefer not to be. I mean, it's a lose-lose because if we're we don't ever want to be the 3 on the side of the 28 because we don't really have much faith in this team coming back. And then also, if we have the 28 and the other team has the 3, then we're like, oh shit, we can't give up a 25-point.
Yeah, you know what? I don't even think we need to go through offense and defense. I think we can talk about it collectively as a whole, since it was just a big collective pile of shit. And I know Nick has some thoughts about the readiness, preparedness, whatever you want to say.
Yeah, well, real quick, just to cover where we stand on offense, we're scoring 15.7 a game. Okay, last year, what did I say to start the year? It was 13.
Yeah.
We're seeing about the same thing.
Yeah.
302 yards a game. Now, the points is 29th in the league. Yards is actually 20th, which that's pretty crazy that only 302 yards a game would get you outside of the bottom 10.
Yeah.
That's usually going to put you in the bottom 10. Defense, we're now giving up 30 points a game after that.
Yeah.
Now, let's give special teams a little assist here for their great contribution to that this week.
Yeah.
They essentially gave away 14 points just by themselves. Even more if you count the kick return that went 60 yards into our own territory. They gave away points all over the field, and we are 15th in yards and defense, 313 a game. So I don't know if you can say defense performing a little better than maybe a lot of think when you're giving up 30 a game, but maybe slightly better. Offense, kind of exactly what we thought we were. We're bottom 10 offense in the league for sure. I think we all said it on the podcast. So that's where we stand. Rattler down to 18th in QB rating now. After that, he's 28th in yards per attempt. The people behind him are Cam Ward and Bryce Young. That's it.
There's actually people behind him?
Yeah.
Surprised Cam Ward's down, but yeah.
I'm not. He's a rookie quarterback.
Yeah.
I mean.
So you're 0-3. You have an even turnover ratio for the year. Imagine if we start turning the ball over just a little bit. I mean, a lot of games might look like this.
2 called back. 2 interceptions called back in 3 games.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So there are turnovers coming.
Yeah.
And either the defense has to rise to that level to balance those out because they only have 2 in 3 games, or, we're just going to get throttled. So, as far as this was my biggest worry on the team. And one thing I wanted to bring up, because this is something we had a big debate, especially Corey and I, when we were going through the Carmichael year and the entire team was hurt. We kind of debated whose fault is it that the offense is so bland, right? My kind of side of the fence was, well, we can say we're just slamming AK into the line, but the only player we have on the field that's any good is AK. So we can criticize that game plan, but trying to keep a game close and win it late, to me, made a little bit of sense. That's why we looked vanilla, because everyone was injured that year. And that's continued in the subsequent years, not yet this year, luckily, in the skill positions anyway. Corey, and I don't know where Max stood on this. Do you remember?
We'll keep going, and I'll let you know.
Okay. So I kind of made a little bit of an excuse for Carmichael, not to say he should have stuck around or defend his job in any way, but when you have nothing to work with, it's hard to scheme. I feel like Kellen Moore has a lot to work with, and he is obviously the offensive mind on the team. So are you going to put the same blame on Kellen Moore through 3 weeks that you put on Pete Carmichael for an offense that is unwatchable by all accounts? Everything is a check down. Everything's a slant, an out route, 1 or 2 shock plays a game, attempt at shock plays, just drop back, plant your foot, throw it deep. There's nothing unique going on at all. It is as vanilla as an offense as you can run, and it's bearing out in the stats. Now, the excuse that could be made, second-year quarterback, only 7 games under his belt coming in. We're going to play it close to the vest. We're going to try and win close. But your big point in that debate was when you have limited resources, you have to scheme the shit out of it and get creative. Mm-hmm. Do you feel the same way?
Absolutely. And I do still like the difference between Carmichael and Moore. Carmichael had years with this team. Fucking years. I mean, he was behind.
No. Sean That was a different team.
He was behind. He had the opportunity to be behind Sean Payton. He was with the Saints running the same offense for I don't even know how many. I mean, going back to when Sean Payton got here, basically, and so he had the opportunity to he knows we had basically the same staff. He knew what he could run, and he comes in, and it's not that like the execution is. To me, it wasn't about the execution of the plays. You can only execute the plays as far as the players are there to do it. It's that his offense was pathetic. His offense was vanilla. At least Kellen Moore is coming in. It's his first year with this team. And you could say, well, he's had years to, establish his mastery of his own offense. But even off jump, I mean, yeah, we're 15 points a game. I'm not excusing or I'm not denying the lack of production. But it's patently obvious the difference in the pre-snap looks, the motions, the amount of play actions he's running. His offense is schematically, I would say, superior, or at a minimum, I would much prefer. Look, if we're going to be averaging teens per game anyway, I'd much rather do it with Kellen Moore at the helm than that bullshit that Pete Carmichael threw at us. Because
time out, because when you started, just to clarify, when you started, you said, hell yeah, which I thought was a defense of Kellen Moore being vanilla.
No, I don't think it's Kellen Moore that's vanilla. I think that what I'm seeing is that we don't have, kind of another point you've made separate of the Carmichael debate, or maybe kind of part and parcel of it, we don't have the players to execute it. Or even the players that are supposed to be there to execute it, like Chris Olave, who's supposed to be your best receiver, got a false start on a motion. Okay?
We're going to get into that next.
I mean, you can coach as much as you want, but when your players aren't dialed in, when your players are not playing with the amount of urgency, and he's going to think.
All right, we got to stop right there. Because
the
same debate, real quick, the same debate we had last year. This was last year. This was in wasn't it? Yeah, last year. When Shaheed lined up on sides.
The Carmichael debate was the year before, I believe.
Yes. Yeah. I'm saying this next one I'm about to bring up was when Shaheed lined up off sides. And I said, you simply cannot blame that on coaching. And you told me you could. And I said, how can you blame that on coaching when you're a wide receiver and you've been lining up in that position for your whole life?
Yeah.
Rashid Shaheed's been a receiver his whole life. So I agree with what you just said, but that's contradictory to our previous one. But
it might be. That's fine.
I'm 100% in agreement with you saying, what the fuck is Olave doing? Like this is, and it gets back to, I'm sure people, who follow us and are in there know our stance on Loomis has been for a long time. It gets us back to, we blamed Carmichael. We blamed DA. We blamed Carr. The truth is, the roster sucks. And it has for quite some time.
Max doing a shameless plug of our new shirt. It starts at the top. It's Loomis's fault.
Yeah. If you don't have the players, you can have you could have any coach in the history of the NFL. If you don't have the players, you're not going to be successful.
Yeah.
And we can keep changing everything else, but the guy who is building the roster, or the guy who's in charge of hiring the people to build a roster, or we can acknowledge that it's Loomis putting a poor team out there. Max and I were going back and forth on during the game And it was like, well, I'm not going to read too much into it because there's 3 rookies starting on the offensive line. I'm like, well, why is there 3 rookies starting on the offensive line?
Or why are the rookies that are on the line besides Banks not playing better? Or why are they not better players? Like, Banks is one thing as a rookie. But
just when it's your first backups.
But you have your first backups are undrafted.
Exactly.
That's a problem.
That's a problem. That's roster
Richards
management.
Was a 5th round pick from 2 years ago.
To be fair, the primary backup at left guard was Radens.
Yeah, so it's a third. Yeah. But the issue, but going back to your point, I mean, and this isn't the downfall of yesterday, but I at least prefer or like what Kellen Moore's still trying to do with the offense. I wish Carmichael, I'm not saying that just by running more
motion, specifically?
Just I'm getting there. Just by running more motion, running more play action. I'm not saying that automatically just gets you better performance, but at least it's something to try to confuse the defense, to keep them on their heels or on their toes, whatever you want to call it, because you could argue that the talent makeup of the roster, I think it's kind of the same from when Carmichael was here to now.
It is.
Except if there were the quarterback,
this year we just haven't had the skill player injuries, but the roster, I agree, pretty much the same roster.
So Carmichael takes that and says, all right, so I don't know what he's thinking. Like, all right, we're gonna. I'm not saying he had to run motion, play action just to keep up with the Joneses, but the purpose of doing those things is so that you keep the defense guessing, and it at least gives you a chance to make them choose the wrong assignment or give you an opening. Moore's at least trying it, and it's on his players to ultimately execute.
You think he is trying it?
I think he is trying more like pre-snap disguises, more. We saw a lot of motion yesterday. We saw, obviously, because Olave couldn't execute, one of them in particular. We did see play action. I think, I don't have the exact numbers in front of me, but I know that at least through the first 2 weeks, I don't know if Underhill or somebody tweeted it, that at least our usage of play action and motion was among the highest in the league, which compared to Carmichael, we know for certain.
Play action was low.
Was play action low? I thought we used it a lot, but maybe it was motion. But either way, Carmichael was dead last in both categories.
I agree, but we're we're right at dead last in points with all this.
I'm not saying, and that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that the usage of it automatically correlates to points right away. But if you're telling me we're gonna have an offense or skill players or talent level that's bottom of the league, I'd at least rather us try those things to give them a chance rather than just dialing it in. So yeah, I mean the Shaheed thing about lining off sides being coaching, maybe I can walk back what I said there, but I don't walk back what I said about my gripes with Carmichael, because we need something. I'm
not saying you should. I'm saying, to me, I'm seeing the same thing. And
we're seeing the same result.
Right. I'm seeing very boring offense. Like maybe I don't pay attention when there's people in motion or whatever, but it's not creating opportunities. We're still throwing it 4 yards past the line of scrimmage 89% of the time.
Well, that's to me where the quarterback comes in, because I think, and I've seen a lot of them, and when I went back and watched it, because again I was on the road, so I was like, I got to see exactly how did this happen. And when I look at it, there's a lot of times where Rattler is either he's either inaccurate with the ball, because AK on that 4th and 2 with where was it, with the 4th and 2 when it was 12:22 left in the first quarter. I mean, there was no one around AK, no one, and he's at the Seahawks 25-yard line just waiting for the ball, and Rattler puts it closer to the defender than he does to AK.
Yeah.
That shit can't happen. That was an opportunity. He was there. He missed it. There was another one. I saw someone did their all 22 thing earlier, where yes, AK was at the sticks to get the first down, but Cooks had his guy beat on the seam, and the safety wasn't anywhere near him. If he chooses Cooks, it's probably a touchdown. He's not going for those opportunities. I took another screenshot where he, the rush got to him. He was flushed out, and he had 2 guys open for a check down. It was Juwan Johnson and AK. Which one do you think he chose to throw to?
Of course, Juwan.
Right. But so it's like there's so many different opportunities that are presented, that have been presented, that our quarterback is choosing not to take advantage of. And I think that's a huge difference between what's going on now and Carmichael. And so
I don't think we had great quarterback execution under Carmichael either in those years. I'm not saying we did,
but I think the opportunities are not like missing. We're just not hitting them.
I just think it looks very much the same. Whether people are running around before we snap the ball or not, it looks the same. It looks boring. It looks uncreative. So far,
the results have been the same.
Results are the same. Yeah. Maybe even lower, as far as like explosiveness, with yards per pass being bottom of the league and things like that. It just looks like, before the season, and I think we were all pretty much in a line, maybe a little more hopeful from one of us than the other, but like, to me, I think the words I use is he's a one-read quarterback. If you tell him to drop and throw the deep ball, he's got the arm to make any throw. We know that. They can look very pretty. You say, hey, put your foot in the ground and throw it to Shough. Just do it. He can make that throw. But there is never, just to what you're saying, there is never any second, third read stuff that you see, almost ever, that works. When he gets off of it, he gets lost, he gets inaccurate. It's constant. So that is 100% true on him. And I think we've said it. We said it in the offseason. We said it right before the season. Unless he can get better, at least at that. His accuracy to me makes him not a starter because it has to be more consistent if you're going to be a starter in the league for years. Yeah. But if you can't even get to the checkdowns either, you're dead as a starter. You'll never survive. You've got to, if you're not as good as the best, you've got to take those free yards.
He's going to the checkdowns first. And it's like,
he does. But it's also, a lot of that is how it's called. A lot of that first read throws are 5-yard routes. A lot of them are.
Yeah, I think a lot of it, and we said it in game one, and it was right before halftime, and Kellen Moore chose not to be aggressive and try to get a score before half, and people gave him shit, social media, all of that stuff. I was upset about it. You guys weren't as upset as I was about it. But it just showed a total lack of confidence in Rattler. And then we're seeing that play out over the next couple of games. You can tell he doesn't trust him to fully execute the offense that he wants to run. I'm going to walk back by agreeing with Rattler and your hot take that he might play the whole season. I think he's done after this week, I think. I think the fact that they put Shough in, for a meaningless
If we get blown out,
I think Rattler's done.
Yeah.
At that point, because you're going to say... You can tell Moore doesn't trust him, and we're not seeing the full, capability of the offense because he can't run it. Like Nick said, he's a one-read guy. He's throwing it to that first read. Yeah. And look at these stats. Shaheed is averaging 9.1 yards a catch right now. Olave is averaging 7.2 a catch. Yeah. Like his stats yesterday, it looked like a solid rushing game from a running back. Yeah.
And it's
pathetic.
One thing I'll say about that too, there were so many, for the people who got on Derek Carr last year and the year before.
He'll take shots, man.
He will. But if you're going to get on Derek Carr for the way that he played the 2 seasons he was with us, then you have to get on Rattler for the way he's playing now because it's a lot of the same shit. Like Carr gave AK one of the worst average receiving games of his entire career. That one game where he had like 12 receptions,
31 yards,
30 yards. I mean, that was the story. Carr, we would take some shots because, he had the ability. Rattler has the ability to take shots. I guess they haven't been there.
Jameer Gibbs broke that record this year, though.
Wow,
keep going.
Good for him. But but we're seeing a lot of the same tendencies, and I think obviously like Carr's a better quarterback than Rattler, given his career. I'm not comparing their whole careers, but if you're going to take shots at a QB before Rattler got here because that QB was taking the short intermediate routes too much, then you got to take shots at this guy for doing the same thing. And again, I'm not saying that yesterday's game, like Rattler didn't lose that game. No, not even close. I don't think Rattler lost the first 2 games we had. Like, I don't think any of the losses so far have been on Rattler except maybe.
Well, no, he's a big contributor to the losses.
He's a contributor.
Right. He did nothing to win them either.
He did nothing
to make a huge impact.
There's a strong argument that we could have been more in it if he had been more accurate on the Olave miss against the Niners was one thing. You're like, all right, if that's an anomaly, that's an anomaly. When it happened again, there was no one in front of Olave.
At the expense of your luck.
At the expense of my luck. So I'm taking it personally.
You should. I bet $50 on your luck. I take it real personally.
Let me see your iPad.
Yeah, I'll hold it up.
I just hope all these fans.
This was me watching. And I took that personally. I do the Jordan meme. But anyway.
Okay, keep going.
Yeah, but it's just it's frustrating because we don't. And here's the thing: I'm not even sitting here saying, "Oh, Rattler has all these deficiencies and Shough is the cure." We don't know that either. I think it goes back to what Max held up earlier: Lou miss. The fact that we don't have any certainty at the quarterback position right now, because look, Shough could very easily come in, do the same exact shit. It's so
this
possible.
is why we
see
did
it, though. We need to see it.
It's different. Yeah, it's different.
This is why we did the game show, though, because I hope people now understand that when you have a Derek Carr and you're trying to compare him to a Breeze, there's a huge gap, right?
Yeah.
Obvious. But if you all of a sudden think Carr doesn't belong a starter in this league, and now you see the difference from what you saw with Carr, by the way, winning record with all these injuries with the Saints, had a winning record. Now you have Rattler, who is not, by all accounts, a starter, or he's a bottom 3 or 4 starter in the league, right?
Yeah.
You see the gap there is just as big as the gap from Carr to Breeze. Yeah, it is huge.
And look, I didn't walk in here tonight expecting nor desiring in any way to try to defend Derek Carr. And,
we're not. We're saying quarterback play.
But if you do the simple comparison, it's there. And it's look. And when we're saying all this, when we're saying all this about Rattler, because a lot of people on the socials are jumping to any criticism of Rattler as you can't blame Rattler for the way the team's playing. No. We're not doing that. We are not categorically. The way the team is playing right now is not Spencer Rattler's fault, but he's an issue. There's a lot of issues on this team right now. He's certainly one of them. And
if you think he's the future,
could he get better?
I just don't think you understand football.
There's a lot of things that can be true at the same time. And has he looked better? Did he look better the first 2 games than he did last season? Is he arguably better yesterday than he was last season? Yeah. Like he can be very well improving as a player compared to his own track record, but that still doesn't mean he's at the level that his head coach, offensive coordinator needs him to be at. That all those things can be true at the same time.
It's not super easy to go 0-9. Okay, that's just a fact. That's just a stat that is real.
I mean, I would definitely go 0-9.
Yes, we don't get paid to do it. So, I mean, you stumble into a win.
Yeah,
that's why so few teams we talked about on the preview have only won a couple games a year. It's hard to not win because you still have NFL caliber players.
Yeah.
You can still have your day and the other team can be off. All kinds of things can happen.
That's why teams are competing to tank at the end of the year or when they're arguably tanking. It's, someone, when the Browns kicked that game-winning field goal, someone was like, all right, you better bookmark this in the spring for when the Browns want a higher draft pick.
The other thing we went rounds and rounds and rounds about last year before DA was fired was he lost the team. The team's undisciplined, blah, blah, blah. This team may be more undisciplined.
Yeah. Again, I think that comparison's different.
It is right now.
To like DA had all this time to establish, not only as a head coach, but he had time before that as DC to establish a relationship with the players and a culture. He was in with the culture. The continuity was the big word. Moore's, look, I'm not going to make any conclusions about Kellen Moore in week 3, but I will say that, if there were some things I didn't like seeing, like would I want to see our coach be more aggressive? Because this, we talked about it in the head coaching search. Are we concerned about him not having the fire of a Dan Campbell, him not having the fire?
I told you before, that
Johnson?
Means absolutely nothing.
But this is that time where a cool, calm, collected Brainiac type coach is perfectly fine for winning. But this is where we're going to find out if that matters when a team is down. Because usually, I think a lot of the fans, we're human beings. We're not in position NFL coaches are in. We want to see a coach pissed off and amped up and screaming at refs when things are going wrong. We want to see that as humans. But is that always correlative to success? I don't think so. We're going to find that
There's
out.
Examples of both that have been successful. Sure. So, that's whatever it is. His style is his style. I don't think that has anything to do with anything. I even said that with DA when that was one of the things. I'm like, that's not a thing. But
like DA wasn't a fiery, quote unquote, charismatic leader.
But we want Sean Payton back. We want Drew Brees back. Yeah. Obviously,
right,
that's what's won. That's what's our heyday of the franchise was with those two guys. Anything we want to look like that because that's what worked.
Yeah. It's just the deficiencies. I mean, Cam Jordan had, I think, a really great. I mean, he was pissed off and whatever in his press conference after the game. But there were reporters. One of them asked a question about like preparation, and the reporter basically, in a professionally worded way, essentially got up there and was like, "Did y'all practice this
Right.
week?"
Y'all are lazy.
And you should have like you could see Cam was like burning the guy's soul with his eyes. Like, are you fucking kidding me? And Cam's like, "Yeah, you don't think we prepared? Felt great going in."
I get why Cam's frustrated, but that's a fair question.
But the thing is, like, they could prepare their asses off. He was like, "You think it's penalties are absolutely an issue. We can't have that. It's bullshit. We need to do better." He's like, "Do you think it's a coincidence, like, that we didn't have, we had referees at practice? You don't think coach is trying to do something about it?" So if you can do everything you could possibly do in practice, but if you don't do it when it matters, then it doesn't matter, and so you've got guys who are just, I don't know, for whatever reason, not executing when they get on the field.
Yeah, I really think, I talked about it on the preview pod this past week, that the next two games, one of which just passed, and this one coming up against the Bills, that was going to tell the tale on Rattler. And this first game went horrifically for the team as a whole, but also for Rattler, because he was just, you can tell he's not able to, back to the one read thing you were talking about, just little stuff like that, not leading Olave on what should have been a sure touchdown.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. So I think, I'm looking into my crystal ball, we get whacked by the Bills this week.
We should.
And then I think against the Giants in the Superdome, there's a good chance Jackson Dart might be getting his first start in that game.
Yeah.
Because you got to think that the Giants organization,
they're in a similar boat.
They're in the same boat, and you got to think they're looking at that game as, this is a very winnable game. Let's go ahead and put the rookie in at this point, because that defense looks like shit.
It's a quick question for you, since you brought that up, just as a comparison of where like franchises are at. Because I agree with you 100%. They're in the same boat. They've already drafted their quarterback. We presumably drafted ours about 15 picks later, I guess, right? Neither have played, so who knows? Not that we were huge Jackson Dart fans. But I watched that game last night with the Chiefs, and you look at the Giants, and you're like, man, they're like really good quarterback play away from being a really good team.
Yeah.
I do not see that when I look at us.
Agreed.
They've got this defensive line that just looks frightening.
Sure.
You've got stuff they can hang their hat on. Adebo played great last night, by the way, which was great to see. But you see like a core of that team in a rebuild. Like, I still don't know where that is for us. Like, what is the anchor of this team? We hope it's offensive line because of the investment, right? That's what we hope is dominant. They have not been dominant or even close, but they have been injured.
Or healthy, yeah.
Right.
I mean,
so, what is it?
I saw a lot of, like, yesterday was more concerning for me than the first. Yeah, we lost first.
Oh, absolutely.
But
I had no concerns after the first two games because they were scrappy and they were in the game. They had a chance to win.
But the concerns were I guess I should put it this. We saw the same shit on offense that we saw the first two games. Yesterday was the first time we really got exposed on defense. And because I was, like y'all noted, and I don't walk it back, but like I was more optimistic about the defense because I do think there's more talent on the defensive side of the ball. I do like Staley's scheme more than what DA's scheme was. But after watching yesterday, it makes me wonder if the guys that we have, because so many of them were carryovers from a 4-3, they're not all like Staley's guys, so to speak, and some of them are aging. Are there still nuances of Staley's defense that these guys aren't picking up? Like the zone drops were an issue again. There was a couple times. Look, it's not a roll your eyes thing.
It is.
They were it
because I know which play you're talking about, and we had no one in deep back coverage on that. No one dropped.
There were times when we had two linebackers guarding grass. That's a staple of a zone defense. If there are no eligible receivers in front of you, you keep dropping. And it's almost like they played so much man with DA or a different type of zone that there's something about Staley's defense that they're not getting, and that's when you get beat. That's when completions happen that shouldn't be happening.
I don't know how many you saw. I saw one, and there was someone in the flat in front of Pete, because I know you're going for Pete again.
No, I'm not even trying to go for Pete. No, I think no. To the
whoever
contrary,
was
I think Pete played his
bat
ass off.
signal just went up.
I think Pete played his ass off yesterday.
But that's the only one I saw. There may be more. So if you have them, I'm totally good looking at them, and we'll talk about them. The one I'm talking about is the deep kind of corner route that went over Pete's head. He dropped about 15 yards, but there was a route in front of him, and that went over, and there was no one there.
I got no issue on that one, because that's probably and that's one of my concerns. Like, is that a poorly drawn up defense to begin with?
But what did we all say was the worst room in the team?
Who are the linebackers guarding in that play? Who are they guarding?
Which play is this?
Wait.
I don't.
It doesn't have the timestamp on it, but the completion came over here. So the safeties are on that guy. You got the guy in the flat guarded. You have two linebackers. They're guarding offensive linemen. They're not dropping anymore from that. They settled. They're looking. I
can't even tell who the linebacker. Are you saying?
I mean, it's Pete and DeMario, but like the point is, there's no eligible receivers in front of them, and they've settled at this point. It's like they're not used to playing this defense. By the time Pete turns,
oh, I see what you're saying.
The play is made. So maybe Pete thought he could get back, and he couldn't. But it's almost like they're not comfortable yet playing this defense. I mean, they're sitting there like, I mean, what are they, spying Darnold?
They're 15 yards off the line of scrimmage.
I know they're back, but they're wasted players at that point. I mean,
I agree, but that's asking a lot too. But either way, I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying I didn't see a bunch of that.
It's fundamental, but the thing is, like, I think they're still settling into Staley's defense, or, you know, again,
who did you call the worst room on the team? I'm pretty sure we all had the same one.
Corners.
Wasn't it?
Yeah, I think we all said the same thing.
Corner. He said it in his synopsis for how the game was going to go.
The touchdown over Kool-Aid was terrible.
He said that at the end it's going to be close, and then at the end, the secondary is going to let us down. They're going to fuck us again.
Yeah,
that's our problem. I think Mac Jones unlocked how to whoop our ass.
Yeah,
I really do. Because, dude, Sam Darnold, what was he? 12 or 14, for 200.
He didn't throw that many passes.
Anything was open back there.
Well, their play average was insane. I mean, they were
they couldn't run the ball at all.
They were like 8 yards a play in the first quarter or more. Maybe it was like 15. But like,
bear in mind, they could not run the ball.
Yeah, their run stats were like under 3 a carry.
At one point, when we were down,
pull up the stats.
We were down 28-3. It was like they had 17 offensive play, or maybe it was when they had 21. They had 17 offensive plays to our 40.
Right.
I think at halftime.
And the yards were the same. Right.
Yeah.
Bear in mind, though, this game got out of hand because.
So here you go, Corey.
Yeah.
Running game. You held them 33 for 87 for a 2-6.
That's damn good.
Yeah.
Crazy good. And that was all game. It was consistent from the front, even in
I didn't have really much issue with our run defense yesterday. It's just
they had 14.6 per catch.
Yeah.
Okay. And they only had 5 incompletions. He was 14 of 18, not 14 of 16. I was off. 14 of 18, 218, 12.1 average, 154 QB rating. He lost his perfect QB rating on his last incompletion because they showed it and it was a perfect QB rating.
Yeah. Now the DBs were a problem. I think, you know,
how do you solve that?
Justin Reed was out of position.
You can't solve that because you're depending on Kool-Aid, you're depending on Yadam, you're depending on Quincy Riley, Alante. These guys none of them are a frontline starter.
The touchdown,
you were bringing up Kool-Aid. You're like, I think Kool-Aid's good. I think it was you and I when we were talking about it on the preview pod. I told you I don't know if he's good yet, and I really don't think he's good.
Yep. Look,
he looks like a number 3 corner.
Yesterday was definitely a step back for him. The touchdown to Horton,
was it? It was just the first time they actually threw at him.
I thought he had a decent game against the Niners, and they didn't throw it because they were picking on Yadam.
Yeah, because Yadam didn't
have to throw at him.
So
yeah.
Well, there's also the presumption that, I mean, when Lattimore wasn't getting thrown out, we're like, Lattimore's so good, they're not throwing
but I also vividly remember Kool-Aid in week 1
true.
not looking very good either.
Week 1 wasn't great. I mean, I think he's going to be clearly he's
2 out of 3 weeks.
I'm going to tell you this: if you have a clear, like, dominant one,
then he's not going to get thrown at.
Then no, they'll throw at Kool-Aid because they think their guy's better than Kool-Aid. That's what I think went on in week 1. They thought Marvin Harrison could beat Kool-Aid. He did.
Yeah.
Then week 2, they don't have a dominant one. Right. Throw to the weaker guy because your guys are about similar. Yeah. And I think you saw the same thing this week. You know,
Seahawks have a number 1. So.
Jackson comes in the slot a lot, so you're not going to see him target Kool-Aid that much. Their lower end receivers were beating Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
That Tony Horton guy was going bananas yesterday.
Yeah. He's on my fantasy bench. Drafted him this year.
I saw that.
Yeah.
I saw that.
But
so here's the thing. I know the Saints fans right now, we love talking about how we won the Lattimore trade and all that. And I do think it was smart to trade Lattimore because we are clearly rebuilding. And if you can get anything, we need bodies in the building. So I'm not knocking the trade. But if you're going to sit and think we're going to be okay losing Lattimore and Debo without bringing anything in, that's just delusional.
Yeah.
Bringing in Yadam to replace Lattimore and Debo, I mean, that's crazy.
I do want to see. I mean, it was all bad across the board, so there's no way to like cherry pick. I am interested to see because I don't know if it's out. I'm sure it's out there somewhere. But the completion chart, where they show like completions in the middle of the field, completions on the edge. The touchdown Kool-Aid allowed was inexcusable if you're a number 1 cornerback. He didn't even. Horton got him. Like, he should know that Horton lined up in an inside split and just worked his way towards the outside And if you looked at the reverse end zone view, he had beaten Kool-Aid. Like Kool-Aid was like laterally with him, but he had beaten him to the sideline, so he had an open window.
Yeah, throw it to the sideline. That's where they want to throw it.
Yeah, so you got to know that that's coming if you're Kool-Aid. And then other than that, I mean, I can't say I saw a whole lot else on the edges, but the touchdown to Smith and Jigba, or the one that set up the Kenneth Walker touchdown, was a play action, and it was like everybody bit. I watched that one. I rewound it a couple times because Justin Reed, who's supposed to be one of the deeper guys on the field, I mean, his foot before he turned around was almost at the line of scrimmage, and they popped it right over his head. Mm-hmm. It's like something's up with the whole defense. I mean, it's fine to be aggressive, but Darnold, the Seahawks ran a ton of play action yesterday, and it killed us. I mean, the ball was thrown over top of our heads a lot.
Well, here's one factor I don't think we touched on enough was the penalties.
The
pre-snap penalties were back in force,
yeah.
And just penalties as a whole. And look, that was huge. Because think about it. So we're going for it on fourth down. They tried to do the tush push with a 200-pound, barely 6-foot quarterback.
Yeah.
And I believe it was Simpkins false started. So they ended up saving us with his false start.
Right. Well,
and then the next play when we had the punt, that started the floodgates.
That was
the floodgates opened up at that point.
That was the punt return.
But it was a comedy of errors. There was like a sequence of 2 straight drives where it was penalty, penalty, penalty. And so that is the biggest deal because they did not look prepared at all. Like they looked like
a
team that took it too easy during training camp.
Then that's what it looked like. And then the other side of the coin is that they could have prepared all they wanted, but these are guys, but maybe for the makeup of who they are between the ears, didn't focus in and dial in when it was game day. Like they just kind of were nonchalanting it out there and just simply failed to execute. Or maybe they went through the motions in practice thinking like, I just want to get a good grade in practice, just get me to the game. Then they get to the game and they fuck up.
Here's the troublesome part. Seattle might not be a playoff team.
Yeah,
there's no guarantee.
And you just got
either.
rocked.
But you reminded me. You reminded me talking about
they
the penalties.
They were 1-7 at home the last 8.
Yeah, talking about the penalties reminded me. The thing that pissed me off the most, which I think is a lot to say considering everything that went wrong in this game, was Brzez's fucking.
Imagine
penalty.
if you had watched it live.
Yeah, thank God I watched it after the fact. But Brzez's penalty I think bothered me the most because
he's still doing it.
It's the first. I mean, he's gotten in trouble with shit like that before. He hasn't been playing well. If you want to talk shit and you're Lawrence fucking Taylor, I don't think anyone's gonna get in the way of that. If Drew Brees got a 15-yard penalty for talking shit, I'd be like, it's Drew Brees. It's fine. He's earned it.
I used to love when Lattimore used to get it because then I knew he was fired up.
Yeah, but like Brian Brzee, what the fuck are you doing? I mean, it was like I know you're a big scary dude and you want to be tough and you play with fire and all that stuff, but like you're still a professional. It's still a 15-yard penalty to headbutt somebody after a play's over, much less a play where you batted a ball down. Your defense batted a ball down to get your defense off the field.
That's what I was going to say. Having the situational awareness, like, okay, you want to make a point to a player? I mean, not when you just stopped them on third down.
Third down, the whistle blows, and they didn't get a first. Sprint the fuck off the field.
Exactly.
I mean, it pissed me off so much. And, and then he follows it up with missing Darnold on a sack where, there was no one between him and Darnold. It's Sam Darnold. Don't tell me that guy's elusive or he made such a good move that you missed him. It's like, no, you went after him under control.
He's got a little bit of mobility. It's not embarrassing to have him.
Your first round pick, but it is you and the quarterback.
had the quarterback dead to rights once in each game, and he's missed all 3 this year.
You got to get him down.
He should have 3 sacks.
Get him down. And so that pissed because that was a momentum changer. That one resulted directly in points. It was early in the game,
4-point play,
and it set the tone. I think. I mean, there's a lot of tone setters, even in the NFL. You can say like, whatever doesn't matter. You got to play 60 minutes of football, but momentum in the beginning, I think, matters a lot, especially with a young team like we have, and that just fucked us.
We are leading the league in penalties, by the way.
Yeah,
and we're second in pre-snap by 1, so we're 1 behind, second place in pre-snap. That's bad.
The Olave one pissed me off a lot too because it's like they're 2 first-round picks.
Which
you got
is sloppy.
Olave and Brzee, first-round picks, and they're both making stupid mistakes.
Well, just wait till next week when Penning's back. Trevor penalty, baby.
Yeah.
You're waiting to see some stupid penalties? You know they're coming.
At least he demolishes people when he gets he's usually
still
putting somebody in the dirt.
Is Chase Young playing this year? Or are we just going to write the season off?
So in the Discord, I set the over-under at 4 weeks. So
writing the checks
we are at the 4-week mark. So let's see what happens. I don't think we're going to see him anytime soon. I think he is collecting a paycheck.
Good for him.
I think the Honey Badger's tweet, I'm going to say, was directed at Chase Young.
I mean,
think so?
it was.
I think so. Who else is? I mean, there's nobody else that's.
No one prompted him. He wasn't replying to anybody. It was right around the time. It was like nobody.
What else did he say?
Nobody.
I've never stolen
Colon.
money?
Honey Badger. I never stole money in my career. Like right around the time they announced that Chase Young was out again.
Look, I said this in the Discord. Chase Young is just Marcus Davenport with better PR. That's all he is.
And stats.
He's the same fucking player.
He looked.
Davenport put up stats that 1 year.
Nah, Chase Young looks better as a
Chase Young's
player.
had way more.
Does he? He's injured all the fucking time.
When
he is not an impact player. He's just simply not.
How many games he missed last year?
I just think he looks. I'm not saying they.
He looks more impressive because
Yeah.
he's arguably one of the most impressive-looking specimens you're ever going to see.
Better college career.
He was the second pick in the draft.
That's what I'm saying.
I mean, he had
Davenport
7.
was a
He played all
14.
the games last year. So I don't know.
I mean, I get what you're saying though.
Anyone expecting that dude to miraculously turn into a top-flight defensive end or edge is out of their fucking
No,
mind.
but we
It's
did
not happening.
We
know
didn't
who
pay
he
him
is
as
at
a
this
top
point.
flight. We didn't pay him as a top flight.
Yeah, but they paid him too much.
Yeah, maybe. But I don't know. It's hard to say.
If they were both healthy this year, and you had Davenport and Chase Young both healthy on this same team, who do you expect more out of?
Oh, this year, because Davenport's knees are fucking shot from 6 years of sucking.
3 years ago.
There was that 1 year that Davenport was apparently the best defensive player on the team. All the people who actually break down plays were talking about it.
Yeah, where PFF was grading him high.
Also Underhill and a few of the other guys.
There was
one. Davenport was 1 year was actually the year he had like 9 sacks.
Yeah. Wait.
I'm just telling you, Chase Young is not any better than Davenport. They're the same fucking player.
I disagree with that, but that ACL definitely messed him up, and then the neck on top of it. But he played all the games in the year of the neck. The year he got traded to San Fran, he played
we'll
the
see
whole
how many
season.
games he plays this year, a year off of the removed from the surgery.
This
Don't hold your breath on him.
kind of a throwback reference. This feels like a Baron Davis injury back when he didn't want to play for the Hornets.
I mean,
but he just re-signed. Like, it's not the same thing at all. He willingly signed a contract.
Yeah, that's what's curious. It's like, what are you doing?
I'm telling you, I think the Honey Badger's comments absolutely directed towards Chase Young.
Yeah, something's up.
But let's run through the picks real quick. We each picked the Seahawks to win, so we each get a point for that. We're not doing an MVP for offense or defense for obvious reasons.
Jack Stoll.
So that brings Nick up to 4 points on the season. You and I are sitting there at 1 point each.
All right.
And more importantly, Corey's Locks, do you know where you are right now? What do you mean?
Do I know where I am? I haven't gotten one yet.
I know, but what's your running tally on money that you've lost us as a podcast?
I mean, simple math would say $150.
There you go. I just wanted to hear you say it. But yes, you are down
thanks for
$150 of the Norton Leatherman money.
Yeah.
Give him a shout out real quick.
No, it's the Gleason money.
Well, the money.
Gleason money.
Thanks to our sponsors, Norton Leatherman Spine Center in Louisville, Kentucky, for allowing us to not have any contributions.
I think you need to apologize to the Norton Leatherman Spine.
But we'll wait till the year's, it's not over. We got a lot more. They did not give us, well, anyway, I'm not talking dollars and cents on this.
So
we're going $50 a bet for 17 games?
Should you tell
No,
them
we're
about
matching it. We're matching it to keep you in business.
Oh, I didn't know we were matching it. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, there's that.
We're going to keep you going. We're like uncut gems. That's what we're doing right now.
We are enablers. if nothing
Clearly.
else.
We're going to get one to hit.
there might be a T-shirt for Corey's Locks in your future if you can hit one.
Yeah. I mean, we can't make a shirt.
Rumor has it.
So it does.
One thing we did neglect, and I can't believe Max didn't touch on it because he was probably more furious than I was special teams. That might have been the worst special teams
wasn't
game.
finished. I just wanted to get that
Oh,
out.
okay.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah.
I thought you were trying to finish it up. But
No.
Go ahead then. Why don't you take the special teams one?
Yeah, special teams. So this was a epic performance by Mr. Galliano, who was a holdover from the end of the season coaching staff last year. If everybody remembers when Rizzi got promoted to interim head coach, Galliano became the special teams coach at that point. So for whatever reason, we decided to hold him over on this coaching staff.
Yeah.
Epically bad performance. So we had a 95-yard punt return for a touchdown, which is way longer than you normally see for a punt return. You had a 60-yard kick return. You had a blocked punt, and then you had a missed field goal. We literally hit every single metric you could hit for a shitty special teams unit.
The one play that might have been the worst one of all of them, and it ended up not even counting because Justin Reed was offsides. The one he blocks, and you see our entire defensive line try and jump on the ball, which you definitively do not do when the ball, because if you touch it and they recover it, you gave them a first down.
Yeah.
It's the Leon Lett play from years and years ago.
Yeah.
You do not jump on the ball.
I didn't notice that. God.
And like
You didn't notice that?
five people piled at that ball.
Mind,
I'm like, what are we doing? Like, it was the worst, probably the worst Saints special teams performance I've ever seen.
Yeah, and Kendra was getting demolished every kickoff
they were
return.
stonewalling.
Like, that was hard to
man.
watch. It was getting really hard to watch. Like, fuck. Like, we actually need that guy on offense. And
I
he's
think
getting killed.
I think since we're not using him very much to his capabilities on offense, I think Shough needs to be back as a kick returner. We're not throwing him the ball further than 8 yards down the field. What's the fucking point?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He did have a good return. Was the only bright spot. He had one
He had
good
a really
return.
good return. That one, and that's why he should be back.
So Corey, is this a top 5 Saints loss in your life?
No, it can't be.
Like unwatchable?
It can't be.
It is for me.
It is for me too. And Zach in the Discord posed that question to us. I want to say around halftime, and he's like, "Is this an all-time Saints bad performance loss?"
Well, in terms of like all around back, because I mean, there's worse losses where we were close, heartbreaking losses.
this
obviously.
one-
No, not like that. Like
in terms of like
just embarrassing
just
losses.
embarrassing. Absolutely, you got pants by the opposition. You had no chance the entire. There was no point in this game after we were 5 minutes in the game that I thought we had a chance.
No, the
game
first,
was over 5 minutes in.
It was embarrassing as shit. I mean, there's only everyone's like, what's the word? I mean, there's so many negative adjectives you could put, but it was fucking embarrassing. It was just like
It felt exactly like the Packers last year.
Helpless. We felt helpless.
Like we don't belong in the field right now.
You know what it felt like? Who was the your guy in UFC when we were watching it at Connors?
What's
that?
Duplessis, Hazmashimayev.
Yes,
against Duplessis.
It felt like watching that fight where it was the most uncomfortable I've ever felt watching like a
grown man get
a
dominated.
Grown man basically
like,
just get.
he might die.
It looked like
can't
a
move.
prison. It looked like a prison rape. Like, and that's what this game.
You've seen it?
This game felt like
What
the
I imagine.
equivalent. This game felt like the equivalent of that fight. Because it felt like we were pinned down for the entirety of the game, and somebody had us, and give me a UFC move. What's the?
He had him in the crucifix 3 times, which is
it felt like the Saints were in the crucifix the entire game, and somebody was just elbowing him in the face, just smacking him in the face, and just doing whatever they wanted.
That's why
it was uncomfortable to watch.
For me, I mean, because I don't think like the offense. It's kind of bad when your offense looks like so mediocre the first 2 games that
you haven't seen many more bad games in this. I'm just letting you know.
like,
because you were born in what? 80,
but I don't think
what year were you born?
85. I mean, there's been some bad ones.
the Ian Book game might be up there.
Yeah, but there was COVID though, man.
I'd have
The
to
whole
go
thing was
back.
wiped
I
out.
mean, I'd have to really go. We should probably do a top 10 on that. But I'd have to really
This is
go
a good
back.
year for it, I think.
Yeah, probably.
We might get
we
6
might
of
have a
them.
few candidates. Yeah.
But I might have to wait till the season's over to do it.
We are going to do a top 10 of Mickey Loomis's greatest hits.
Yeah, have to do that.
That's coming up
But
soon.
but the point is, the biggest concern for me, obviously, special teams put us way behind the 8 ball, but the defense was the most glaring to me. I mean, in terms of contributing to it being one of the worst games ever, because when they were on
I
the
think
field,
the special teams, there's
special
more
teams,
blood on their hands
it's like,
than the defense.
well, yeah, special teams, defense, then offense.
Yeah.
And not to say the offense was good by any stretch, but it's just when Seattle had the ball with Sam Darnold and Kenneth Walker, who only had 33 yards rushing, so basically it's like an air attack from a Sam Darnold-led offense. And yes, Smith and Jig was good, but like they got what they wanted. When he dropped back, it was like flag football.
Yeah, the secondary
I mean,
guys were wide open. The second, third, fourth option were all wide
It was
open.
just mind-boggling. I mean, that was the biggest concern. Like, there was no stopping their air attack, and fuck. I mean, yeah, and special teams like gave them.
they had
gave them a head
240
start.
yards passing. It wasn't. I've seen much worse.
But they didn't need any more than that. It was like they.
Yeah, I hear you, but I've seen our
only threw it 20
defense get lit up. Yeah.
They only threw it 20
That's what I'm
times
saying,
because they
but-
were
yeah,
dominating.
but they were
They could have had
so-
400 easy that game.
They were
No
so
problem.
efficient. You know,
Yeah.
it was like they didn't need any more yards than that because they started. They started
No,
so
I hear
far
what you're
up.
saying,
Like,
but I really the special teams to me was was at the heart, and I mean everything else is secondary. I
Yeah.
can't even like consider anything
So
else to be as
I think
bad as that.
special teams is the worst because they set us behind and they're the reason that the Seahawks did not have to pass for any more than 240
Yeah.
to put up the score they did. And like what was it, the tweet I sent you? I mean, I think is like how telling it is, where the Saints were the first team in NFL history, yet again, like a bad record we set. First team in NFL history to gain 280 yards, give up fewer than 330, not lose the turnover battle, and lose a game by more than 30.
Yeah, you know what happened to cause that?
Special teams.
Right.
Special
teams. Well, special teams, and then them getting whatever they wanted when they did have the ball. Right. So, total team loss.
If Seattle stays aggressive in that game and doesn't settle for all those field goals in the third quarter, they easily score probably 60.
They dialed it back.
They definitely did.
Very visible.
They got very conservative. They weren't throwing a lot. They threw when they needed to.
I was hoping to see Milroe.
He got one play.
Yeah, I was hoping to see him come in. I mean, why are you playing lock? I mean, you're not going to.
But they put in Shough to do nothing.
So I'll say this. Let me ask you. So we're 3 games in.
Yeah.
Would you like to amend your season prediction for win total, or are you still where you're?
What did I put it at?
You have it written down?
Yeah, I have it.
5.
I'm just curious where. I would like to amend mine. I mean, but we'll leave it to what it was.
There's no official amending.
No official amending, but just from the.
Corey had 6, Max had 4, I had 4, but my hot take was 2.
Hot take's looking good.
I think Nick's hot take is the leader in the clubhouse right now. Over your hot take, I think is got water doused all over it. I don't think Rattler there's any way he starts all 17 games. I think that's done.
The issue with
now he fends it off for a bunch of weeks if he goes to Buffalo and doesn't look bad. Though
if he doesn't look bad next week, the issue with
I don't see it happening.
10 days of rest for Buffalo.
The saving grace, if you even want to call it that, for him in terms of like getting benched, is that now he should have had a better game against Seattle because Seattle wasn't looking like the world beaters going in. We know Buffalo's a world beater, so if we get washed out of the ballpark by Buffalo, then you're not really going to put it on Rattler. I mean, or put it this way, he's going to be saved by the whole team failing around him.
I don't think he's going to be saved. I think he's done after this game.
But I mean, it's like when the whole team is failing around you, are you saying the quarterback is the reason we didn't do well? And that's if there is a reason to keep playing him, it's going to be that, because it's going to be we do need to see more from Shough to evaluate him. But in terms of when that might happen, if Kellen Moore still thinks, unless he's changed his mind, if he's seen enough to change his mind, but if he still thinks that Rattler gives them a better chance to win and miraculously have some outside chance of being competitive in an NFC South, which doesn't look that weak anymore now that the Bucks are 3-0.
Everyone else looks pretty weak.
But everyone else looks pretty weak. But I mean, like, it's not going to be like the division winner has this terribly few amount of wins, because Tampa Bay is getting what they need to get, and they're going to steamroll all over Atlanta and Carolina, it looks like, and us.
I don't think there's any way that Kellen Moore looks at Spencer Rattler and looks at the rest of the team and thinks, okay, maybe we can sneak into the division race. I don't think there's any way.
Well, I think that.
And I also think that, as I said earlier, after this beating that's coming in Buffalo, I think Rattler gets the hook because Fuaga, if they hold him out this week, should be healthy for the Giants game. Penning, they're saying, is probably going to start this week. So you get most of your offensive line back. You're at home. You're playing a team that's 0-3 or 1-3 at that point. Yeah. So go ahead and that's the time to do it.
Well, see, my prediction would be if my hot take does not come true,
I think and
Shough does come in, my prediction is that it would be after either the Giants or the Bears, because no one is expecting us to do shit against the Bills. So therefore, you're not really going to expect your QB to do shit. You would want to give him another home game against a lesser opponent. And if he doesn't pass that test, then you know for sure, okay, let's bring in the other guy.
I don't think he wants it. I mean, at this point, he's probably like, okay, let me just get my guy ready, his hand-picked guy.
I mean, they're all his guys because they're on the team. I know what you're saying about the hand-picked guy drafted.
Rattler's not necessarily his guy. He inherited Rattler.
But he picked him. He picked him over his guy. So that the part we don't know of that equation is how they view Shough. Do they view him very low? And we are just saying, like, if it's close, why wouldn't you play him? Maybe they don't think it's close.
Because there's a possibility
maybe he's that
where
bad.
Shough is worse than Rattler.
Right.
And we don't even, as mediocre, poor, whatever you want to call it, on offense that we were yesterday, there's a chance we could have been worse with Shough if Shuck's not as good as Rattler. There's a chance we could have had 0 first downs.
Well, guess what? That's a perfect segue to I think the last topic we need to talk about. So I know you watched some college football this weekend. I watched a bunch. There's a new guy coming up in the QB race for that first guy, Fernando Mendoza.
Go Indiana.
Go Indiana. Did you see any of that?
I didn't. No. Georgia was off, so I didn't really watch
obliterated number 9
I saw that they won. I didn't see
No,
how
it
they
was
won.
like
Like
18
60-20 or something.
Yeah. He threw
Okay.
5 touchdowns. I watched the game. He looks good.
So has he had other good games?
Yeah, he's been on the
He's been
the first
solid.
round radar, so
Isn't the guy from Oregon looking pretty good too?
he is.
Yeah.
They're not expecting him in the draft until next year, though.
Okay. It's going to be a long. I think Nuss comes around by the end of the year to be because
Well, I like to bring it up every week. It's almost like a stock watch because we're
Hey,
going to
look,
have a top 5
you know
pick.
what? I'd love to see 5 of them rise to the top 10
be
because
great.
then we know we're going to have a shot, at something there.
Yeah.
If, assuming we're all correct in that we're going to be drafting quarterback.
And just for the record, so Mendoza on the season, 14 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, and 2 rushing touchdowns. Cuban quarterback. You don't see that very often.
well,
Or ever, maybe.
Or ever. Yeah,
the big game next
and then
weekend.
Mateer looked good
Mateer.
again, beating Auburn.
Well, he had a week
Looked
off.
pretty good.
He had a week off this week.
I
but
watched
you know
most
who
of that.
plays football again this weekend? Gunnar Stockton.
No one gives a fuck. He won't play in the NFL. It's fine.
The guy who cost you the playoffs last year?
He didn't cost us the playoffs.
He sucks. He's not good.
The dogs cost us the playoffs.
And your other favorite, Mr. Beck, he's threw another interception or 2. Although they did win.
That's
but
expected.
Florida is a
Yeah, but
goddamn train wreck.
he's now the leader for the Heisman. Is that right?
That can't be right.
His odds have flown up.
He's not.
I saw he had one.
talking
He's
wrong.
not as bad as you think
Well,
he is.
when they're undefeated, you're going to be in the Heisman talk, just like Mateer. Mateer isn't having a Heisman season yet, but he's undefeated, so he's high up on the list.
Yeah.
Or he had a big rise or whatever.
I don't know.
I joke about Gunnar, but
Heisman leader right now is Mr. Mendoza.
Oh, he jumped above him?
Plus
Wow.
800, second Mateer, plus
Yeah.
900. Dante Moore, plus 1,200. Jeremiah Smith, plus 1,200. Beck is 5th.
Fifth. He was
Plus
way
1300.
back, though. He wasn't even on the radar.
Yeah.
I saw a stat of how much their odds jumped from preseason to now, and
Yeah.
he was the biggest jump of odds, I think.
Nussmeier, down to plus 2,000.
It doesn't matter in the SEC. Whoever goes undefeated will be in New York
Yeah.
listening to their
I think-
name at least get
Oh,
mentioned.
absolutely.
I think it's time to
Whoever wins it.
put it down on Nuss because I think it's only a matter of time before he comes around. They have too much talent on offense for him not to.
They just need to
have
get the
success.
line straight. They've been a little
Yeah.
iffy, but if they get that straight, this is a big week right here
Yeah.
because they got Ole Miss this week.
Well, we know how it goes. It's always mid-October to the end of November. That's when someone steps up. So
Yeah,
we got to
if,
see.
if Nuss has a heroic game against Ole Miss, I mean, it's going to fly up that.
If he goes 12-0,
yeah,
you can write it down. Doesn't matter.
we'll be looking back saying like, I can't believe it was plus 2,000 at one
Yeah,
point.
I didn't bet it.
God.
I mean, if I had to handicap it right now, the top 3 contenders for the top quarterback picks to me, it's in no particular order: Mendoza, Mateer, and then Jesus Christ.
Nuss. You like
Yeah,
Nuss.
Nuss. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I think Allar's fallen off. I don't think Klubnik. There's any thought of him being the first round pick.
He's
anymore.
really fallen off.
Who's the one at
He's good.
A&M? People said he'd been looking good. Was it Reed or Sellers?
That's-
Sellers is South
he's
Carolina.
not-
that's
he's
like
not
the
anywhere,
he's like a hybrid. He's good.
Yeah.
But I don't
But-
think he's not like a first round talent, is he?
no.
Okay. He's the guy who
But I
came
mean,
in
like,
last
for
year.
Heisman.
Preseason was Sellers, Arch, Nuss, Allar. Those were your main ones in the preseason.
Right.
So Nuss is the only one to me who's still alive.
Yeah, he's still alive.
No,
for
no,
sure.
absolutely. But he's the only one out of that crew that's still alive.
Sellers lost again this week, right? Didn't they lose?
I think so.
I stopped watching. I think they ended up losing that game.
Man, you can see why everyone's freaking out. Like there's some of the throws he makes and just being that absolute specimen. But fuck, he needs another year. I don't.
Yeah, he's only played what 10 games now.
Dude, he's like
Because he was hurt part of last year.
Something he just scares me.
He's better.
He's
He's a
better,
better
I think,
thrower than
but-
Anthony Richardson. Accuracy wise, he's better. But you're right. He's got
He
a
needs
lot.
another year,
He
man.
needs time.
He needs
Arch
time.
clearly needs time. He needs a 6 year. He needs that COVID year.
Did you like Arch bowing up on that dude?
That was about as worthwhile as a Saints.
Do you think they
Yeah,
fare well?
exactly.
You think they fare well in the SEC? They might get rolled because they play some good teams this year. Not like last year where they avoided everybody but Georgia, and Georgia spanked them both times. But do they play Bama? They play like 3 of the top SEC teams this year, unlike last
Did
year.
they play LSU?
No.
Yes.
Oh, they
Texas? Yeah, they play in Tiger Stadium this year.
Ooh, road trip.
do? That'll be a fun game.
We'll have to go to that one. Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't realize they played them. Did they play Bama also?
That I don't know.
Bama doesn't look that good.
They play us in Athens.
That's good. Are they going to play all every year?
No. Our permanent opponents now are Auburn, Florida, and South Carolina. Florida was expected. Auburn probably expected.
Auburn's
because they're the Deep South Soldiers rivalry continuously since whatever. But yeah,
LSU's is Florida and Arkansas.
I know we play Texas because we have the reverse. Like we had the road games, the gauntlet of Ole Miss, Bama, Texas on the road last year. This year we have them all, but at home,
right?
Which is nice. And we already got our toughest road win, arguably, in Tennessee out of the way. We do have to go to Auburn. But we'll see. Jordan Hare always does something stupid to the juju.
We kind of veered off the tracks. Any other thoughts on
No.
This is the most important part of this whole season is who we draft.
I just hope whatever we do, like I don't expect us to do anything close to winning in Buffalo.
We got to see Shough. We got to see Shough because we're going to have a top 5 pick, and there's going to be a couple of these guys that do rise up to the top 5.
Yeah. I think if we see him, it's going to be if Rattler can't beat somebody that they have a chance to beat. Again,
he already did that the first 2 weeks.
No, but I mean, they know we weren't. Seattle.
You caught the 49ers with nothing. They started Mac Jones.
Yeah, so they're gonna
McCorkle Jones.
They're not just gonna. They don't have him on that short of a leash to and Moore said that he's not gonna have to be looking over his shoulder all year. He's our guy. We're expecting him to play every game.
They always say that.
I know, but I'm just saying, I don't think they're gonna go to the potential Super Bowl winner, get blown out and be like, oh, our quarterback's the problem, and then yank him. I don't think that's going to happen.
If they're logical, they're not looking at it and going, well, because of this one game,
But why do it after that game? I mean, what's the difference?
I don't think they're going to do it on.
They don't play LSU, actually.
Who?
Texas. You dropping bad
I thought they were played this year.
They have left. They
That's why I don't trust your takes. You don't know what you're talking about.
I could have sworn they played.
They have a bye, then they play the Gators.
You said it with such confidence. And
I thought I could have sworn they played Texas this year.
Well, you were wrong.
So they play Florida, then Oklahoma, then Kentucky, Mississippi State. Mississippi State's 4-0. Kentucky's 2-1. Oklahoma's 4-0. Then they play Vanderbilt 4-0. Then they play Georgia 3-0. Then they play Arkansas 2-2. Then A&M 3-0.
Yeah.
That's a gauntlet.
Yeah.
So if they come out of
not prepared to run it, I'll tell you that.
Week to week running through that, if they don't lose 3 more, I'd be shocked.
It's funny because they were saying the same thing with Florida. I even sent you the tweet when they were like, Florida's schedule is arguably...
It's insane.
It is. And what are they, 1-3?
Yeah.
Yeah. The same shit's going to happen to Texas.
Yeah. They couldn't afford to lose. Like, the USF loss was the worst for them.
All right. Before we turn this into a 2-hour pod, any more thoughts on the...
Too late.
The brutal massacre in Seattle that we watched?
We just have to see.
I think we covered
whatever the opposite of what that was is what we have. Not saying we have to win, but just like, I don't want to see anyone talking shit to anyone on the Bills next week. Like, none. Just
I'm gonna do it.
I get it, but like,
he's gonna be there, correspondent.
You can talk shit because you don't have pads on, but like,
he might have.
That puts me more at risk.
You gonna take the helmet with you?
Oh, you mean players? You don't want players?
I don't want to see a goddamn. We were talking shit to them. Olave was doing like the first down, so we were down by 28.
Down 30.
Like, shut up.
He did it twice, actually.
You want to take the helmet with you? You're gonna wear it to the game?
I don't know.
Are we doing Color Rush again?
Do I want to pack a helmet? I got to think about that.
Yeah, well, that's my
I should pack a whole uniform just to protect myself.
We got some pads.
Bills fans are cool.
They got them at Academy.
You're not going to Philly.
If I jump through a table, I'm going to need a helmet.
We need video of this.
You got to jump through the table.
You got to jump through a table.
I'll talk to Jackie Walters, see what they can line up.
He's got to do it.
Anyway,
let's go ahead and wrap this episode up. We will be back later in the week with our preview of the Buffalo Bills versus the New Orleans Saints.
Yep.
Where Nick will be our local correspondent on the field.
That's right.
Get on the field. Let's look at a little action.
Preferably without authority. And
I thought you were going to say clothes, so I'll take authority to begin.
No, keep the clothes on. Just make sure you get tackled.
Calm down, Corey.
And next episode, we will
get the lock.
See what this guy on my left comes up with to try to hopefully add another.
Might be just
lock.
Mega parlay. Bet the over everything on Bills.
Do it.
Yeah, no, that wouldn't be.
You got to change things up, man.
Wouldn't be very
what
lockable.
you're doing right now is not working. So
I think the Bills are going to win. Put it that way.
Okay.
Anyway, with that, we'll go ahead and wrap this up. Thank you for listening to this episode of the 28 to 3 podcast. Who dat?
What a comeback!